Hi Todd, this is Alan Cockrell with ABC, former hitting coach with the Colorado Rockies, the Seattle Mariners. I'm going to take a look at your video today. What I look for in setup is we're just trying to keep our knees inside of our feet, and we're trying to keep our head inside of our knees. Would like to see good equal bend in both knees right here. Just a good athletic setup. One thing I might suggest, Todd, just because of your height and your stature, is that we maybe take our feet and widen them out just a little bit, maybe 3 or 4 inches, just to widen out that base, make that stance just a little and base just a little bit more wider and more wide, more stable, I think is probably the best way to say it. As we start to go forward into your swing, it looks as though we get just a little bit narrow and we can't really use the parts in the swing like we'd like to. Okay, so we're going to take this into the load phase. The load is gathering and storing weight into this backside. Okay, I want to store and gather weight in my load. We've heard the term get back. I want to get my weight back to the inside part of this back leg. Okay, the inner thigh area is where I want to feel the weight. So this knee would be more into this position inside your back foot, and again, with a little wider base, I think it would be easier to keep that knee inside that back foot and to really get that weight into this inside part of this back leg. Okay, now we run it forward. I'm sure you've heard the term get your foot down. Okay, getting the foot down is when the back heel fully plants into the ground, as yours is here. I am now in a full loaded position. My foot is fully down. All right, I'm going to take a look at some things here. Again, this back knee is a little bit over this back foot. I'd rather have it inside this back foot right here. Okay, the other thing that I look for is making sure, again, that we've got good equal athletic bend in both knees. Again, I'd like to see your foot just a little bit, your feet just a little wider apart, maybe out here more in this area, so your foot would be more into this position right here, a little bit wider, a little bit better base. Other thing I look for is make sure our hips are squared up. You're good there. The last thing that I look for is when this heel plants, that front heel plants right here, okay, I want to make sure that this stride foot is no more open than 45 degrees. Your stride foot is open at 58. Part of that is, I think, is just because the width of your base, the width of your feet is fairly narrow, and with your height, I think you need a little bit wider base in order to support your frame. Okay, but this 58 degrees is open. It's going to cause us to want to open our front side in our swing, so that front hip's going to want to leak open just a little bit quick as we start to go forward. Okay, now as we start to move forward into the swing, you can see the front hip starting the swing. It's starting open. What we want to start the swing is we want this back knee to drive into the inner part of this front leg. Okay, so all that weight that I had right back here, I now want to transfer this weight or shift this weight and drive this back knee so that I feel the weight on the inside part of this stride leg. Okay, the first move with the hands is this elbow will drop down into the slot of the rib cage and the back hip. All right, so I'm going to run this forward to that particular position. Now, what we should have right here is we should have shoulder, elbow, and back hip all in an alignment. Okay, and I think, again, I'm going to go back to the width of your stance and your setup, and then the width of where we get to in our load. It's causing us to want to pull our hands in front, and this elbow right here has gotten ahead of our connection. Okay, we don't want it to get in front of our back hip. Once it gets to right here, this back hip, I've got a line of shoulder, back elbow, and hip, a straight line going down. Once I get to that position, the hands will then start to work in front of my center of gravity, which is right here at my belt buckle. Okay, they'll get out front so I can deliver the bat to contact. Okay, so we'll run this forward. The hands are starting to work out front. Okay, I see some good things at contact. You've done a good job of of using your hands and correcting your hands to get it to contact. But I see palm up, palm down, which is really good. I see head and eyes looking down the barrel of the bat at contact, which is good. Todd, it's important for you to know as soon as your head and eyes come up out of the hitting area, that's where the barrel of the bat is going to go as well. So the barrel of your bat's going to follow your head and your eyes. So if I want to make sure that I'm getting good full extension, I can discipline myself to keep my head and eyes down here in the hitting area for at least one count after I've contacted the ball, so that I make sure I'm getting full extension through the baseball. Okay? And once we get through contact, okay, we want to get good full extension there. Now I want to complete this extension with a good full long arc of my bat in my finish. Okay, this should be the arc of my bat as I finish my swing. Okay, and you're kind of pulling your bat across your body a little bit, and then the next move is going to be somewhere over here. So we haven't quite gotten the extension that we want to get. Okay, so what my suggestion would be, we're going to take this all the way back to this position right here. All right, we're going to try to get our feet, and I'm just going to widen out my stance. All right, and I'm really going to feel, my knees are going to be inside my feet, okay, in here. But I'm really going to feel the weight in my setup on the inner part of my leg right here. So if I widen out my stance, I've got a better chance of keeping my knees inside of my feet. Okay? Now from here, we're going to run it to the foot down position. Now that foot down position would be somewhere in this area. And again, I'm going to keep that at a 45-degree angle. Okay, now my knees are really going to be inside my feet, and I can get a good transfer of weight into that front leg, or the inside part of this front leg right here. Okay, once I get to that position, then I'm going to work to get this connected position where my shoulder, my elbow, and my back hip are all in an alignment. And once I get to that position, it would be right here was how it would all look. This elbow would be over here in line with this. Now what I want to get is I want the feeling of skipping a rock across a lake. Okay, if I were going to skip a rock across the lake, then my elbow drops down into that slot, but then my hands will continue to work forward in front, and it will release that flat rock. That's going to be the bat speed and the release of the barrel at contact that I want you to feel. So we'll set the tee out here on the outer third of the plate, even with my stride foot. Okay, that stride foot's going to be wider, and I'm going to get to a position where, again, my feet are wider. Okay, I'm feeling the weight on the inside parts of my legs. I'm really going to shift that weight into that inside part of the front leg, and then I'm going to get to the connected position and really feel the release of the barrel staying through the ball, so I get a good, full, long finish past contact. Contact and extension would be here, and this is what my finish should look like. Okay, I think this is a drill that will help you. I think simply widening your base is going to help you in order to stay all the way through the ball and get a good full finish. Okay, bud? Thanks for coming to our camp, and best of luck.